First question. I'm gonna let y'all read it, and I'm gonna read it myself.
What are some common barriers to effective communication in relationships? Mm. Whew.
What are some common barriers to effective communication in a relationship? That's the question. So I think it's a pretty good question. We can start wherever we want to start. So who wants to take the first stab at it?
Usually Shirley jumps in. Go ahead, sure.
No, that's why I didn't do it because I always got so much to say.
When you start a tradition, just
I'm gonna
continue it.
listen.
Just go ahead.
I'm gonna start. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start it off.
Oh, I don't know about this tipsy.
Common barriers is, I think, just not understanding where the other person's coming from, bro. That's one thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You might be saying something and it might be French to the other person. You know what I'm saying? So that might be one common barrier. Like the other person, you talking and it's not even English to the other person. I know that sometimes I will say some shit, not some shit, but I will say some things and it might not come across and I can look on the face of Shirley and see that she don't understand what I'm even talking about.
So,
So
what do
I
you
think
do in those
just
situations?
actually being on the same page is one barrier of effective communication.
So, in situations where people are not understanding what you're trying to communicate, what do you do?
Normally, I mean, if I'm going by what I used to do, I'll just be like, bro, like, what the fuck is wrong with cuz, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got, you know what I'm saying? What's up? But now I can see that maybe I didn't communicate the thing the right way, or I'm saying something and I didn't explain it properly and give all the details to what I'm trying to say. So it could be that too.
Yeah, I think like leading with understanding too is another barrier. I think sometimes when people communicate, they're only communicating their point of view or their perspective, and they're not even worried about the next person because they just want to communicate what's on their head or mind. So I think you gotta, when you are communicating, you gotta like lead with understanding and understand that this person might not agree with me, understand that this person might not understand where I'm coming from or what I'm saying, and I have to say it in a different way or explain it in a different manner, and like not get upset and defensive. Um, so I think that's a barrier to communication. I also think the way people receive communication is another barrier because like if you if you know every time you approach this person they're going to get upset no matter what you say, no matter how you say it, they're going to get defensive. You're going to get to the point where you're just like I'm not going to say nothing to you no more. Like there's no point because I don't even want to go through that or have that battle or that discussion. So I think the way that a person receives something is another big barrier. And I think that's number one reason why people don't share how they feel. Because every time you ask somebody, well, why you just didn't say how you feel? What's the point? It ain't gonna change nothing, or it's not gonna be. You get what I mean? I think that's a big communication barrier. Is how things are received to the point where people think their feelings don't matter or it's not validated.
Do you think do you think because the person didn't receive the message that you was trying to say that you shouldn't still say it? Like
My
even if they
person,
don't receive the message, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it because I think you still have to say it because it's gonna be a pressure on you that you
I
didn't let it
agree.
off, and you know what I'm saying. So it might be I still gotta let it off regardless, and how they receive it is how they receive it.
No, I agree, and I'm totally like that. Like I don't care how many times you get mad at me or what you say about me. I'm going to tell you how I feel because I feel like I owe you that, and I feel like I respect you enough to do that. I think you're not doing the person any justice. You're actually doing them a disservice by holding back and not telling them whether they receive it or not. Because sometimes people might not receive it in that moment, but they go back and think about it and they'll be like, you know what? Shirley was right. Or they might hear it from Shirley and then hear it from someone else, and then they'll be like, you know what? If this many people are saying the same thing, it might be true. So I would never stop, because you don't know when it's going to resonate with that person. I will say certain things like, I won't volunteer the information. Sometimes, like, you would have to ask me questions and I'd be like, do you want me to answer it or whatever? Like, giving you that warning. But if it's something that's going to affect me, then yes, I'm always going to speak up. Whether I think you're going to receive it or not, I'm going to speak up.
Okay. I like that.